Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Arvinder Narula on BW Wellbeing World. My guest today is Deep Bajaj. Now, Deep is a visionary entrepreneur. From being into events and then helping his wife set up a carpets business, he moved on to solving a problem. He's the co-founder of Sirona Hygiene, a company dedicated to revolutionizing the hygiene and wellness products. His passion is for addressing the unmet needs in the market, focused more on women. His commitment is to break taboos surrounding women's health, hygiene, and has not only driven the success of Sirona, but has also sparked meaningful conversations and leading to, which is something that we can call a societal change. Now, through his leadership, Deep continues to inspire those who prioritize health, wellness, and inclusivity. So, Deep, welcome to BW Wellbeing Wednesdays. It's such a pleasure to have you with us and to understand what you do and how you do it. But more than that, what prompted you to do what you are doing today. So, Deep, welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays.
No, thank you so much for finding me worthy of being on this initiative.
Right. And so, Deep, before I get into trying to understand about what Sirona does, what inspired you to look at this particular space? Because usually what I've seen is passionate founders are the ones who had some personal challenge which they wanted to overcome, and that became the trigger. So what was something that happened in your case that chose this particular journey?
No, sure. So it's a boring one, but what I can say is, if I were to sum this up in one sentence, I would say it's only like the great Steve Jobs says, right? It's only in hindsight that you can join the dots. So today, when you ask me, having traveled a little bit of distance in this category, I can say this is the trigger. Back then, I didn't even know, where I was headed. But you're right. The inspiration or the fire started because I had experienced this void more than maybe what my friends were observing. And the void was, I started with events in 2006 to 2010. I was into event management. 11 to 14, I got into handmade carpets with my wife. And during events, I had seen that no matter how hard of course, there were many other problems also, but this one problem was something, because I was the business development side, one of the founders of that business. I could see that no matter how hard I try, it was very difficult to keep those portable toilets clean. So you're doing a large scale concert, and one particular episode I still remember, which I've said I don't know how many times. We had launched this mall called Cross River Mall in Shadra. Back then in 2008-9, it was the longest mall in NCR. And in one of the shows, we had Sunidhi Chauhan perform. And back then, BD Jaraile's song had just come in. And she's a girl from Dilshad Garden, which is near Shadra. What happened was, let's say if we had capacity for 7,000 people, 15,000 people showed up. And as a result of which, the toilets, which we had provision for, the portable toilets, started overflowing. And of course, everybody understood that how you can't do anything about it. But that's one episode that I remember very, very clearly happened, right? And of course, then smaller concerts, portable toilets, attitude would always be a nuisance. Then during, our pregnancy, I got married in 2009, 2011, 2011, yes, 2011, we had a miscarriage, which was because of UTI. So I had that episode. So when we got pregnant again, we had to travel. And even if back then, of course, we couldn't afford flying business class. But we upgraded the ticket because, there was one experience that had happened, UTI, or lagta tha ki UTI can only happen because of a dirty toilet. So we thought, this trip can't be avoided. We were into handmade carpets. My wife is a carpet designer, like I said. So, there's a Delhi-Dubai flight, and Kingfisher back then used to fly. We were flying, we upgraded her. But still, you are always one bad man away from a bad toilet experience. So when she had to use, your bladder, your last trimester, it pushes you far. You have to urinate far more and all that. So when she had to use the washroom, she said the washroom is a mess. That episode I remembered, and we were shitting bricks that you don't want. It's quite draining for a lady, especially to have a miscarriage. That episode was there. And then my mother had arthritis in her knees, so we got his knees replaced. But despite that knee replacement, I had, she wants seat to be 6 inches raised. तो जब उनको कभी travel करना होता है, it still becomes a challenge, right? So 2013 on a road trip, 4 couples, Delhi Jaipur highway, uh, and I was still, selling carpets and some more. After 2010, I exited events. Then I was into carpets. Carpets we were doing for Middle East, Saudi, Singapore, all that market, even Southeast Asia here. So 2013 road trip, 4 couples, Delhi Jaipur, and boys were drinking whatever they could get their hands on, and girls were not even having water because drinking means you have to stop over and find a clean toilet. Now, no matter where you stop, even a popular eatery like a McDonald's on a weekend, when the footfall is so high, it's difficult for them to also maintain. And highway washrooms are still, there's still more work to be done. So I was fooling around. I said, see how God loves men more. इसलिए हमारी body कितनी amazing बनाई है, we can stand and pee anywhere. I was just fooling around. So a friend's wife suggested that she had seen someone in Europe use a contraption to stand and pee. Now, while everybody laughed it off because she said, "अरे India का problem है, यहाँ कोई solution है ही नहीं." Everybody laughed it off. I think somewhere for me, the lines would have joined like this at the back. Oh, अरे यार अभी इससे पहले solution क्या है? इससे पहले solution was find a clean toilet, right? So why did I upgrade back then? Because I wanted to find a clean toilet. In my mother's case, seat has to be 6 inches raised, so you take a chonky along, stuff like that. So you were doing all these things. The solution was deal with the seat, find a clean seat. And while if you see what that idea suggested was that we don't need to deal with the seat at all. So then I came back and I started doing the research, and that's how P-Buddy was born. P-Buddy became India's first stand-and pee device for women. So the long answer to your very short question was yes, it's a mix of personal and professional gaps that I saw. 2013-14, incidentally, I was planning to do something else. We had stabilized the carpet business. And when this came in, I thought, yeah, I would love to give it a shot. But I still didn't know almost for 2 years that this can become a business. So I was doing it as a side hustle. I thought, yeah, launch karta and let me give it to some women. So that's how that started, and that got me into the category of female hygiene. And then we launched other products under Sirona.
So that's a very beautiful journey. I mean, like you said, that on the hindsight, you're able to connect the dots, but there's always something that triggers what you want to do. But you also use the word that I researched. Sirona has introduced unique products like menstrual cups, pee devices for women. How do you approach R&D in this very unique space to create innovative solutions?
So again, buddy, it's a process because we didn't start with funding, and it was a business. So I've done businesses. Businesses means problem identify, karo, customer lao, scale with those revenues. And in this one also, it was more around saying toilets is a problem. P-Buddy helps women solve it. But what happened was P-Buddy, it's a habit change. You have to convince a woman to stand and pee first of all, and of course, there are 100 other things that surround it. So early days, because we didn't think that this will, it's going to be a startup business like this. We thought let's introduce products that we believe we can sell to her, and riding on those, P-Buddy will sell. So I started asking around. I asked the first 3 problems actually I solved for my family. The P-Buddy was launched because I had seen personally and professionally what the issue was. My wife has very turbulent first day of her periods because she has period pain. So I had seen hot water bottle and painkillers. So I launched India's first herbal period pain relief patch. Then, she is also very particular about cleanliness. So, we launched these disposal bag for sanitary products. Yeah, pads fekein kaise, baby diaper fekein kaise. So when these started taking shape, more and more women started to share what were they lack, what else they wanted. So that became the DNA of the organization to say, let's talk to our customers and understand what do they want. So today, if you ask me what is the process, we've made a list of issues that women face right from puberty to menopause. And at every stage, we have identified, that this is still unaddressed because Sirona is known for solving the unaddressed female hygiene issues. We try our best to not introduce Me Too only. Yes, there is a ratio, you have to push revenue. So there are some products where we'll say that, yes, this exists and this is a better mousetrap. But fundamentally, internally, for every, there's a ratio that we follow that at least for every Me Too, there may be these many innovations that should come in. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Deep.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So those are the list that we have is right from puberty to menopause, and we identify those gaps and we we go after those solutions. There's a very competent team. These guys are rock stars to then introduce the product. So today there are about 30 odd solutions that we have.
Awesome. And the, your products that Sirona has are, there are two aspects to it. One, they are very close to a human body. They're touching the human body.
Sure.
Second is you are in a manufacturing domain and everybody's talking of sustainability. So
Sure.
how do you address two concerns of manufacturing today? One, the quality, which is acceptable by a human body.
Sure.
Second is, the sustainability and consciousness around it as a business.
I think how, and I've always answered this. First and foremost is customer comfort. While, we are talking about environment sitting in AC offices, driving cars and flying jets, what we understand is you need to solve the problem first. So I would say that for a lady, if pads work the best, she should use just that. Environment we can deal with later. There are 100,000 other things, that are polluting the environment. We can find better disposal. We can find ways to, incinerate the pads, etc. So at Sirona, first and foremost is what does the customer need and can we solve it, in the best possible composition of the product. In that, we absolutely try that we should try not to, we anyways don't use any harmful chemicals in our compositions in some of the products. Some of our products are contract manufactured and they're made at FDA approved facilities. So emphasis is given that not only your ingredients should be the best, your quality, manufacturing practices should be done at factories which have all the approvals in place and not just an eyewash. So it's a combination of those two, to be honest. But for us, if you see product wise, when any communication is going out, we try to push products that we believe are good for her as well as the planet, and in that order. So if it's about menstrual flow, we fundamentally believe that menstrual cups are a better product to use. So while we have tampons, panty liners, cups, and reusable pads, we push menstrual cups as the product of choice because it is also good for the environment. But it's never the, and this is, of course, we've seen it. Let's talk about the issue that pads create and customers will buy it. I think, so today we realize that let's not live in a fool's paradise. Customers want what solves their problem first. If it is great for the environment, it's a slam dunk. So we push the products that we believe are good for her and also for the environment through these two, three in combination.
So Deep, while you you initiated the production of these kind of products because there was a need in the family and you thought you could solve this problem or solve this challenge. But when you run it as a business, there's a sustainability of a different kind. You need to ensure that the business is sustainable.
Of course.
So what were the challenges that you faced?
Of course.
Because this was a completely radical thought process.
True.
Because, like you said, it was a habit-changing thing. So how did you create the acceptability and adoption of these kind of products?
So, what I realized was all these products that we had, especially the ones that were innovative, which were India first, some of them are not our innovation. Like menstrual cup is not our innovation. I would say to be able to sell it at scale has been Sirona's innovation. In the case of, some other products also like tampons is not our innovation, but the fact that we brought in the category, expanded the category, started dialogue around it and got adoption around it has been our claim to fame. So what we've done, I would say reasonably well, is creating a system which helps in breaking myths around some of these products. And because we didn't have a lot of funding, we did it in ways which we could afford. And because of that as a handicap, we ended up asking our customers to talk if they were happy. And I think that has been a great asset in our case. We did not have our own website, so we were selling on Amazon, Flipkart, and other Nikas of the world. Any consumer feedback was taken very, very seriously. We were prompt to, if they had problems with the product, we were happy to refund, we were happy to return, and all those things were early days of Sirona, where we said, let's go where the consumer is, and let's just keep watching, keep listening, keep in touch, keep in touch, keep in touch. The philosophy internally was, if there's a consumer complaint, help customer first and then investigate, and not the other way around. Do not give a solution. Give a solution right away, and then you investigate and figure out. Maybe in 10 cases, 3 customers might be taking advantage, but those 2-3 who are genuine and 2-3 who are genuinely struggling, at least they will become your brand ambassadors. So the way we thought about it is, there's no money, let's go where customer is there and we can sell at a profit. So that's where we went to marketplaces. We realized that we don't have money to have big brand ambassadors. Let's make our consumers the brand ambassadors, and that's the most sustainable way to build. And you can do it by keeping in touch with consumers, listening to them. If there is a problem, be prompt. That's what we did on that end. In terms of sustaining it financially, we kept our expenses in check. We did not really go overboard. We still don't. So those are three, I would say, which have helped us keep afloat. And I think the fourth and the final will be, we've also kept it sustainable by saying, if our core promise is to introduce innovative solutions, there has to be a ratio internally that even if now we have a range of air removal products, we might also have a little bit of personal care. The ratio to the core innovative female hygiene products should not be challenged. So Sirona would keep introducing products every quarter which are innovative, which gives consumer the reason to believe that as a brand they can trust us.
And Deep, again, on the hindsight, today, of course, people are talking about it openly. Women are
Of
using these
course,
products. But at that point in time, you said that you did not have the money to
of
invest
course,
in brand ambassadors, and your clients, your customers were the brand
yeah,
ambassadors. How open were they to come on and talk about
yeah.
it?
Well, I think they've been very open. And or maybe I'm a eternal optimist here, so I only look at so I can give you hundreds of positives. Negatives, of course, है, किस चीज में नहीं है. So, but for me, touchwood, yeah, God has been very kind, and so have been our customers. So I'll give you one example. We were once selected for this show called NDTV Real Deal something. They had selected 12 social entrepreneurs from India. Very early days of Sirona, 2015, 16, and we had a very basic website, which was just selling products. So they said, we want to speak to some of the customers. And we were selling more on Amazon, Flipkart, where we did not really have access to customer data. So we said, fair enough, what we'll do is we'll just send an email to all our customers, jinka hamare paas data, and we'll see if somebody comes in. One cold email, we got many replies, and two customers. This was a shoot happening in Saket, which is south of Delhi. A customer came in from Gurgaon, and she, her husband came and she came, and they shared that, my wife is a cancer patient, and she is able to travel better now because of your Peabody, the stick, because when she has to go for her oncology visits, she has to there's waiting period is high in hospitals, toilets, she's much more prone to infections. So I'm saying there are examples like that where consumers back then came in forefront and spoke about it. We created videos, very simple, fun videos which were shareable, and they went viral because we were just trying to highlight on how this toilet as an issue is something that needs to be solved, and Peabody is trying to do it. So in many ways, consumers have built us. We've been built purely because of consumers, and thanks to a lot of well-wishers in the media who, whenever we were doing something different, they did not look at whether we can bring them advertising dollars, but they looked at, is this story newsworthy? And they kept sharing that, Sirona introduces India's first herbal period pain relief patches. Here is a team of men trying to look at problems that women face, and they're trying to do it differently. So we did not introduce another hot water bottle. We did not introduce any other painkiller. We said, the problem is women can't go to office comfortably with a hot water bottle, and painkillers have side effects. So a pain patch we introduced. So it was covered. Then we introduced rash creams for rashes that women get in intimate areas. It was covered as it. So I'm saying it's been very, very our customers. And for me, honestly, I call my customers in two sets. I believe my customers are internal customers and external customers. And we have tried to devise a strategy to keep in touch with both. And both of them have made Sirona into what it is. So short example I'll give you. Customer example I've given. External customer is a paying customer. Internal customers with our team members, with our shareholders, and with the media. With all of them, we created ways to keep in touch with them, and all of them have helped us at some point or the other because of that one trait that we had, that we need to just keep in touch somehow. So built purely on just keeping in touch with our customers, internal or external, and very, very benevolent they've been.
Right. And is digital or e-commerce still the primary sales
Yeah.
platform for you, or have you moved towards, is there acceptability, or are people looking for these products at chemist shops?
Well, yeah. So yes, I would say that it's an omni-channel play, while majority of our focus still happens to be online. What we're saying is, and now quick commerce is taking a very different shape. So our logic is, if you get your periods, you want the pad, tampon, or cup now. So we should be there. I mean, to me, at least in urban India, that's a very interesting platform getting built. So we are there, of course, on quick commerce, e-commerce, etc. We are also there in some modern trade outlets. See, what we're still trying to do is making it available at every store is the easiest thing you can do. Getting offtake from there is the difficult part. And while your team can go and place it, what you have to understand is we are into habit changing products. It'll take its own time. We are in a marathon. We are not a personal care brand, where you place it and she says, I don't want this face wash, I want that face wash. It's just it's a very easy choice. Or the probability of her converting is easy. In our case, we want to be at stores where women themselves are going. Those are anyways far and few. What Amazon, what these marketplaces and quick commerce has done, they have taken more occasions off her plate to visit markets. So we are saying we are okay to reach those stores slow and steady. Right now, we are there in all the leading, of course, online D2C, yes. Offline, where women themselves go and have time at leisure. So modern trade outlets, yes. Local pharmacy, very few women are going. Usually your boy goes there and gets you what you want, or they deliver at home. So we are taking that one a little slow.
And Deep, since you were talking about adoption of these products, new categories being created, new products being coming out, habit forming changes. So education and advocacy become a very important role to play as an organization which is into such kind of a business or this DNA. How does company use social media initiatives to create awareness and education, as I wish to call it? And also, are you reaching out to younger people because they are the ones who actually face? I mean, just thinking aloud. What does a school girl go through when she has to go to a public toilet in a school?
Of course. No, so what we've done, I think, and again, all credit to the team, reasonably well is, we've been able to identify gaps even in what consumers are searching for. So, for example, if a girl is searching for how to use a menstrual cup, the side effects of menstrual cups, how to take care of menstrual cups, how to keep a menstrual cup. I think all those searches, we were keeping early on, I'm talking about 4 years ago, the team started tracking those because again, we didn't have a lot of money to just go and spend on, even digitally. So we said, how do we help those who are seeking that information? So, we hired a doctor. We were the first one, in fact, to have a doctor on board full time whose only mandate was, ma'am, women are facing these issues. These are some of the topics. Let's make medical advice videos on the topic. It's not about promoting Sirona, but it's about going down in every category and explaining what happens. So why do you get period pains? Why do you get vaginal discharge, like white discharge? So, and of course, we have solutions for them. But fundamentally, the idea was to create a community of sorts where we were able to educate the consumers on the information they were seeking. So we went after the guys who were seeking information, created videos around it. Those videos started going viral for us. So YouTube has hundreds and thousands of views, especially of videos created by Dr. Diksha, which were created on these topics. And then, of course, then we started using them on social media as well to search. But the topic where we're in, buddy, is not where it's just not impulse purchase behavior. You're not saying, oh, I like it, let me just pick it up right away. So we are saying where consumers' intent is higher, let's ensure that you give the best advice there. So if she's searching, you will find videos, you'll find articles, and they'll be not just regular author, you'll have written by experts, sort of stuff. And when she is on social media, the videos of our consumers who are users brings in credibility. So it's a sum total of all of that. But we've spent a lot of time in educating the customers. We've created multiple communities. We've gone to colleges and spoken. We go to slums and we talk. So all of that happens at Sirona. We, in fact, also run a foundation, so which does it.
That's very interesting. I mean, since we're talking of going to the slums, etc., has the adoption of such kind of products happened in tier 2, tier 3, or in the tier 5? Is there a thought process around that, or is that mindset changing there?
Yeah, so not for all products. Of course, when I go to slums, the idea is not to ask them to stand in pee. There we are saying the more pressing problem right now is they have nothing for their menstrual flow. because of which they are missing schools, because of which they're missing their days labor, and then slums. So there are no toilets. Where do they, if at all somebody gives them the pad, who will give them it next month? Where will they throw it? If they're using a cloth, where will they dry it? There's no place to wash it. There's no place to hide it. There's no place to, put it out there. So there, our focus is just trying to get women confident around their periods. So the mission of our foundation is to end period poverty and gender inequality. There, we are only talking about two products. One, we give them our menstrual cups, and it's a CSR program that we run internally, where after every Sirona and Peabody product sold, we put aside a lakh of rupees. Sorry, for every product sold, we put about 1 rupee, and that totals up, and we then give out those products in these initiatives. Like over the last couple of years, we have educated about 1 lakh women. Thousands of menstrual cups have been given at no charge to these girls, because we believe that product helps their problem. And the problem right now is, I have nothing for periods. Pads, who will give me every month? Reusable pad, where will I dry it? Where will I hide it? So cup can last you throughout the day. You are happy. The second problem that we try to solve there is of safety. So we also acquired this pepper spray brand. And one of the biggest reasons was, when we were going to slums and we were talking to girls, they kept talking about how there were crimes against them when they were, when they go out to relieve themselves. There's a lot of, issues and harassment that they face. So that market we are only talking about, and the underprivileged, underserved, below poverty line, that market is only those two products, which we're trying to, so we try to educate them on self-defense. There are videos we've created on YouTube. The videos are available for free, English and Hindi. No product. We just tell them basic stuff that, at every point you have some weapon on you as a girl. It's just that your brain freezes and you're not able to attack the attacker back. So those videos is available for all. When we go on ground to these areas, we carry these two products. That for periods, yes, the adoption is a little difficult, but once they start using it, they don't go back to anything else. And the second is the cups. As far as tier 2, tier 3 cities are concerned, for regular consumers, but you'll be surprised. Women are, far ahead when it comes to being open about usage of these products. The issue is, there is no conversation, and because there is no conversation, there is no adoption. So we are whenever they stumble upon the product, they're the first ones to try it. So we are seeing growth from all over.
And interestingly, your business started with the fundamental DNA being listen to your customer. I mean, it started with trying to observe what challenges your family was facing, then what the women were facing in general. How do you today listen to your customer? Is there a mechanism that you have built around receiving what the industry is talking of, not the industry, what the customers are talking of?
So, like I said, that mark for us, or the chart for us, is puberty to menopause. That list has still so many issues that we've not solved, and they are a result of a lot of consumer interactions. Other than that, there are a lot of social listening tools also that the team uses to figure out what conversations are going on, what conversations women need solutions for. So we do that. In terms of channelizing or putting a system around it, and like I said, there's a system that we're trying to follow for both internal customers and external customers. And for our internal customers, like I said, for team members, every month, for the longest time, there were monthly town halls where anybody could talk to us as founders and share what they were facing. And at the same time, all division heads used to perform. We used to share very openly with the team members what has been the progress. So that gave that customer, the internal customer, the team members, a sense of belongingness, and that's why the attrition is amongst the lowest. I mean, I can almost say there is none. There are many members who've been there for us for 7 years, and they still continue. In terms of investors, also similar practice of sharing regular updates. In terms of media, also I have a list where I'll add you once I get your number. I call it the shameless spamming list. So whatever new things we do, we keep updating them. And that's how we keep in touch with them. With consumers, similar. There are special initiatives that we've taken. I mean, at the customer care, etc. Of course, there are gaps because now the volume has increased. We ship almost 6 lakh orders every month. So there are faults, but the intent first is to say, don't become an investigator on the consumer. Solve and then investigate. So
awesome. Yeah. And Deep, how big is Sirona now? Has it become your primary business? And carpet selling has taken a backseat. It's a smaller business now.
Well, yeah, carpet is bit smaller now. No, well, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. Carpet was anyways Rashi's business, who's my wife. How big Sirona is, I mean, all I can say is that we believe in a couple of years, if we don't do 500 crores, we'll be disappointed. 150 crores is the run rate, which is very encouraging given the category where we play and the kind of products that we sell. Um, and yeah, I mean, like I said, we're looking forward to doing far more, far better, not only in India, but everywhere in the world.
And Deep, how has it changed you as a person from
Yeah,
being in a events business, which are in a different mindset, then
yeah,
getting into helping your wife do the carpet business, which again is a very different mindset,
sure.
luxury segment, and now becoming a social entrepreneur where you are impacting lives and impacting lifestyles. So how has it changed you as a person?
Well, I think the best people to answer that will be, people who are around me and not me. But I think the only thing that has changed is, I would say, I've become a little patient, with things. Today, if you were to ask me, what are the key takeaways from entrepreneurship, they'll be very different to what I would have answered as a 30-year-old. Other than that, I think, yeah, I mean, I believe that if you really are trying to create something unique, nobody honestly can defeat you if your conviction is strong in it and you persist.
And Deep, again, I'm taking it from my last question.
Sure.
You've been into different businesses, different segments, different customer sets. What's the advice that you would have, which is coming
Sure.
out of your own experience, your own learning, to anyone who's looking at becoming an entrepreneur in the well-being, wellness, or healthcare sector?
Well, I would say in any sector, yeah, their fundamentals are the same. I think there are four things that I've spoken about many times. To my team also, I keep telling them that if you want to start something new, if you want to do any leap of faith, even within your job, four things are a must-have. I believe number one is be mentally prepared for 1,000-day haul. Businesses are not built overnight. They can't be built part-time. You need to give it 1,000-day full-time focus. And that's one of the reasons why Sirona, when I committed to Sirona, it was only Sirona I was doing. Rashi runs a business, I run this. Number two is, when you're trying to do something different, please try to stay away from too much of analysis paralysis. If I had looked at the data that, how many women will use menstrual cups in India, how many women will stand and pee in India, we would have not started this business only. We would have just launched pads, we would have just launched something else in the toilet space. If your conviction in anything is strong, stay away from analysis paralysis, do it, learn it. That's the best way to do it. Third, I would say it's very important to stay away from energy vampires during these 1,000 days. An energy vampire is a concept which I learned. I mean, it's existed for many centuries, I would say, but I learned it from this monk in New York called Dandapani, and he says that how money is a finite resource, and when it's over, you're poor, you're almost at the end. Same is the case with energy. And as a founder, and it happens, right? You enter some places and you immediately feel good. You speak to some people, you immediately feel good. There's some people who completely drain you out. So he said there are these people, the ones who you speak to and you're immediately drained out. Keep an eye on them, stay away from them. And many times you won't even know they can be people who are closest to you. It could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be your mother, father, sibling, or your co-founder, could be anyone. Uh, in many cases could be an investor, where and fundamental line under that is, they might not necessarily mean you're bad. They might be your best wishes. But what happens is our energies don't align. So the minute you say something to me, and if I go in a shell, you are my energy vampire, no matter how good you mean my how well you mean for me. So third is make a list of these guys, learn to deal with them, stay away from them. And fourth, of course, is patience. Nothing is built overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Have patience and just keep pushing. So those four in any category will see you through. And of course, everyday hacks are different. Like I do believe that once you've made these four, there are a lot of subcategories that will come out of it. How do you survive in those 1,000 days? I believe have a playbook to keep in touch with internal customers, external customers, analysis paralysis, keep listening to your consumers, stay away from energy vampires. These you can avoid, these you can't avoid. And fourth is persistent, and I've written and I've got a thesis on that. So those four largely would sum it up.
Awesome. And Deep, before I let you go, my last question to you is that what's next? What's upcoming at Sirona? Is it a new
Sure.
product, collaborations, partnerships? In fact,
Sure.
what's your thought process on collaborations? I mean, doing a
Sure.
business that is expected to
Sure.
reach a large level and creating an impact.
No, you're right. So I think how we see it is because the nature of the organization is that we keep trying to find innovative opportunities. There can't be something that I can say this is the playbook for the next 5 years. In products, I can say, but in collaborations, all we're saying is we're always open. So I'll give you an example. You know, we have our own app where we have a community. You can buy the products, you can answer all the questions, you can track your periods. But because it's a consumer first approach, because it's an approach where we're saying solve problems, we collaborated with, and it became a meta case study also. I think it's first of a kind in the world, but we created a period tracker on WhatsApp. And what it does is you don't need to have my app. So, because consumer is, so most of the people would say, "Arey, let's bring it to our website, our app only." We said, no, if at the center is she needs to track her periods, and the best way she can do it is by a tracker on WhatsApp. Let's just give it on WhatsApp, right? So that was one collaboration that I would say I was very happy with, and it just happened. It just happened because in one discussion it came in and we worked on it. Second was recently we collaborated with Delhi Airport, where outside every washroom we have created a machine which is first of its kind anywhere perhaps in the world, which gives all 4 period products to women: pads, tampons, panty liners, cups, toilet seat covers, and even it has one more intimate wet wipe. So it gives all the products outside every washroom. So in terms of what collaborations and what next, I would say we are open here. If you feel that there are any women suffering anywhere and we can be of any help, we are happy to devise a solution around it. In terms of product, that list of puberty to menopause gaps are identified, and you can expect far more products. So yeah, that's what it is.
Awesome, Deep. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you because, here's an example of just observing what's happening around you,
Yeah,
understand the challenges that somebody could be facing, and trying to figure out how we could solve the problem,
yeah,
whether that turns into a business or not. And something, when I was working at Google, one thing that I actually picked up from there was that if people,
yeah.
you're solving people's problem, if people start using your products, businesses will happen. You
True,
will make your money.
true.
And the learnings that you shared were so relatable because I've been through my journey, and it's absolutely true. The gestation period is something that we
Yeah,
underestimate. We whatever people say to us,
yeah,
we do
yeah,
not even realize it, how it
yeah.
impacts us, how it can create a self-doubt in you. So it's so important to surround yourself with the right set of
True,
people who keep you energized.
true.
So while we are wanting to avoid the energy vampires, we should be surrounded or consciously wanting to surround ourselves with people who could actually
True,
energize us while we are
true,
doing business.
true.
Keep our faith in ourselves.
Very
And
true.
and of course, I mean, one more thing I wanted to add was that when we are doing startups, when we are doing something that we feel is disrupting, something that is
Yeah,
status quo, we like to surround ourselves with mentors.
yeah, very true.
So it's so important to choose
Yeah,
your mentor very
yeah,
carefully and do
true.
not be blinded by what
Yeah,
people tell you.
yeah, yeah.
Relate it to your real life and see what will work for you or not.
You're absolutely right. So much so that I don't write much, but I write a little bit on Medium, and I wrote an article on this whole thing that when you go on LinkedIn today, everybody's a mentor and everybody is a advisor, and so many of them ask you for sweat equity. And I think yeah, there's a different thing, but yes, mentors can play a massive role. In fact, the whole concept of energy vampires is around that only. That when you choose your mentors, when you choose your advisors, choose them correctly, because many times in garb of a mentor is an energy vampire. Last example, maybe I could give you that. I mean, I've seen that. There were times when we had many angel investors in Sirona early on. Then we gave them an exit. When we did this last strategic round. So, and there were some of them who would just keep comparing us. And I, as a person, I'm somebody who believes, who works very, very well in a constructive criticism. I'm like, you criticize as much as you can, as long as it's constructive. as long as you also tell me what the solution to it, and I'm the first one to work on it. But there are guys who just give destructive criticism for the sake of giving criticism. So, those are the people you need to watch out for. It's precisely that. Choose your mentors, choose your advisors, choose the people around you very, very, very well, because your only job in those 1,000 days is to keep yourself positive. And this one hack helps you stay away from negatives.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deep, for taking our time to be with us.
Pleasure.